In today's video we have this 2022 Ford Bronco Big Bend, and this is how each of the lenses look before the installation, and now this is how the lenses look after the installation. So before purchasing the Bronco tint kit, make sure that the tint kit itself will match to the trim level that you have. With that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So when it comes to the headlight tint kit film that we have, our tint kit will cover the front portion of the headlight, which will be this part and this part right here. And the reason why we didn't create another part or a piece for the film on this side is because for the installation process, it is going to be a little difficult to try to squeeze in and squeegee out the film. So you only have a limited amount of space. So because of that, we only make the pre-cut film just cover the front portion of the headlight when it comes to here and here. Okay, like any other installation, we want to make sure that the panel is clean. So just spray your slip solution, clean it off. Once it's ready, we just spray slip solution again, and we're just going to align the film to the edge here, and then make sure while you're aligning it here, it matches all around here. So roughly around there. And there will be times where the film might start going down, reason being because it does have slip solution. So we want to make sure once we align it to tack it down as soon as possible, that way the film doesn't move. So once you have it aligned, grab your tack solution, spray, and then start tacking down. And that should hold it in place, and then now we're able to work around the rest of the area. So then just grab tack solution, spray on the back of the film, and then start squeegeeing. Okay, once you have it tacked down, you know it's not going to move on you. The next thing is just squeegeeing out the fingers as much as possible, and then once that's done, the next step is applying heat all around. That way the film molds around the curve, because the headlight does have a slight curvature on the front. So we want to make sure to remove all the fingers. We apply heat with tack solution and then just squeegee out little by little. So now just apply your tack solution and then heat all around, and then rinse and repeat once you remove all the fingers. So once you finish heating up around the area and removed all the fingers, the next thing is just sealing off everything. So we want to make sure we apply tack solution on the edges, and this time we're going to apply heat all around again, and then this time we're going to use a microfiber towel. That way we help the film tack down to the curve. So make sure you apply tack solution and then heat, and then just tack it down. Okay, once you finish sealing it off, this is how it looks. So it's just rinse and repeating the heating and tacking down process. So once you're done installing this one, the next step is installing the last piece of the headlight, which is here. So when it comes to installing it, there's two ways. You could do the wet method or the dry method. When it comes to either of the installations, we just want to make sure that the film comes to the edge here, and then that you are going to have a little bit of material that is going to overlap here. That way the tint covers most of the headlight here. So we could do either dry or wet method. So to distinguish what side goes where, the side that has a more straighter line, that one's going to be for this edge here. The side that has more of the curve, that side's going to go where this curve is. So if you are going to do the dry installation method, we recommend starting from here. So just align it and make sure when you're aligning it that the film is straight. So once you tack it down, little by little with your finger, just start squeegeeing, and while you're squeegeeing, make sure everything's aligned and you're not leaving any bubbles. So you just want to take your time, align it, and squeegee with your finger. And if you need to pull back the film, you can. You just make sure when you're pulling not to pull too hard where you stretch it. You just pull enough so you don't want to accidentally overstretch the film. Okay, and it should be like that. So because you are going to have excess material, it's just going to overlap on top of this one, just to make sure it does a full cover right here in the middle. So that's the dry method. Now if you want to do the wet method, that one's a bit more easier since you're able to move it. So you're just going to apply slip solution, and then with that one, just align it Once it's aligned, then you do your usual spray tack solution and tack it down. So hold it in place because it is slippery and just start tacking down. Okay, and once you have this tacked down, it's just placing the last part here. So just make sure you meet it and then tack it down. Just to help it tack down better, apply tack solution on the back and then guide it. Make sure it's aligned and then start squeegeeing. The only thing with the wet method is you are going to have a little bit of moisture here, so you want to make sure you remove all the solution that might stay on the back of the film. That's pretty much it. Those are the two methods, and then after you would post heat this whole area here, that way the film stays and it doesn't peel off over time. Okay, so now the next thing is putting the tint on the side reflector. So with this one, it's a two-piece method. So this one doesn't have as much of a curvature as the headlight does. So this one we're able to do a two-piece method. So first we're going to install this one, which is a flatter surface. Just to make things a bit easier, we do the wet method. That way we're able to move the film around and align it to the edge here. So with this one, just match to the corner. Make sure you reach the edge here on top and also on the bottom. Once you have it in place, the next thing is just tacking down. So lift the film, tack it down, hold it in place, and then squeegee. Put light pressure first. That way you're able to put the film in place. So once you have it in place and you know the film's not going to move, the next thing is just doing a second pass. What I mean by second pass is just squeegeeing the film, but with more pressure on the squeegee. So just apply tack solution again, and then we're able to apply more pressure. That way it stays in place. And then just dry out the area. To help the drying process, you could apply heat. And the reason we want to dry everything out is because the next installation, which is the side piece here, that one we're gonna do a dry method. So we wanna make sure the area is dry. So just dry everything with the heat gun. Once the area is dry, now we do the last installation, which is here. So when it comes to this last part, you want to grab the piece of the film and try to match the curve. So as you can see, it curves in here and curves in there. So you just want to match it around there. And then once it's matched, place the film with your finger, lift it, and start tacking it down little by little. And it's important that we match the curve. The reason being because once you're on top of the curve here, the film sits without wrinkling, and then you just continue on and placing the rest of the film. So just continue with your finger, guide it, and tack it down. You are going to have a little bit of fingers here, but with that one we could remove it once we finish installing it. Could remove it with heat and squeegeeing it down with the tack solution as well. So this part is done, and we'll just continue on with the rest here. Down, meet the curve. With this one, we did give a little bit of extra material. That way you make sure you do a full coverage. So if you want, with this part, you could trim it or tuck it in, but we recommend doing a cut instead. So you want to tack it down, meet the curve, and then tack down. So once you reach the end, you are going to notice that you do have extra material. The reason we gave this extra material is just to make sure it covers the whole surface. If you see that it does cover the whole surface, then you could either trim it out with a blade, or you could just leave it and tuck it in with heat. So right now with this one, we do have a little bit of extra material. So we're just gonna meet it to the bottom and then just trim it. And if you do trim it, just make sure you're careful not to scratch the vehicle. So just grab the edge and just trim it out. So like that, you create a slit, and then you're able to just peel it off. And then just wrap it around, and then with heat, you're able to finish the remaining part here. So now we're just going to focus on the top fingers. So right here we're going to apply a little bit of tack solution, and then with heat and squeegee sideways, and we're able to remove the fingers that are up here. So those fingers right there, you might come across them when you're doing the installation. So with that, we just want to apply tack solution, And with heat, squeegee sideways and it should remove those fingers. So Tacky Solution, apply just a little bit of heat. And then squeegee sideways. And that's it, all the fingers are gone. So when it comes to the Taillight installation, it's just a one piece. Reason being because this one, it's a more of a deep curve and it will require a lot of stretching on the film when you're tacking down on the areas on each edge of the taillight. And because of that, there will be some parts where you have excess amount of fingers on certain areas because of the curve. So with this one, because it is going to be a difficult installation, we're only going to be covering this part of the taillight. So let's get started. So we just apply slip solution, align it. We make the film just a bit bigger, that way you're able to cover most of the surface. So just align it, tack it down, and it should cover the whole thing there. It is a flatter surface, it's easier to do. Once you get to more in the center here, it does have like this small curve. So we just made the design for here. To install it, apply your Tacky Solution, squeegee to tack down, and then just apply heat to seal it off, and then you're good to go. Brake light, you just want to make sure it's clean. So spray slip solution, clean the area. And then once it's clean, spray again, but this time we're spraying, that way we're able to move the film around, and then just place it, and it should line up perfectly to the brake light, so it covers the whole thing. And then from there, just spray Tacky Solution, that way it tacks down. Okay, once we finish tagging it down, the next thing is post heating to make sure the film sits on the brake light and it doesn't peel off over time. My Tacky Solution and just finish it off placing it. Post heat and then just place it down. Okay, so that concludes the installation video. We'll provide the link on the description or in the comment section for you guys. But if you guys do have questions in regards to the installation, feel free to message us or comment below and we'll be happy to help you guys out. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next video.